Hello and welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on MTV that would like to ask, would you like a blueberry? That's right, we're talking about the challenge All-Stars Rivals, aka All-Stars 5. And let me just clean up real quick. All right, let's start off this season, how this season starts off with a montage of all the different rivals slash final reckoning, which was like Rivals 4. And what really stood out to me was when they talked about like Banana stealing the money from Sarah and Ashley taking the money from Hunter. And I don't know, but the more times that they kept on pushing that, I felt like there has to be a twist in this season. Now get to where everybody is entering the arena, which will be where the eliminations will take place. And everybody is coming in. We get to see the first person to have a confessional on the season is Frank, who we have not seen since, well, Vendettas. But the last time we saw him on an official cast was season 25 when he got medically disqualified. But Frank is back, ready to play. Then we also get a confessional early on from Nany, who is talking about Casey. And I feel like this is going to happen throughout the entire season. But very recently, Nany and Casey both have posted on Instagram that they are no longer together. It just feels a little odd. What's not odd is TJ coming in on a motorcycle, ready to greet everybody to being on the challenge All-Stars, but with a twist, Rivals. This is where TJ puts everybody in their respective pairs and we get to see them interact for the first time. The first two called up is Adam and Steve, and in my opinion, I feel like Adam really plays up this moment. You're the first pair to be called up, you have the spotlight amongst everybody, and I think that maybe Adam just plays it up a little bit. Not to say that they don't like each other or that they won't be awkward around each other, I just feel like Adam really plays this one up. Steve seems to be acting like Steve does. Frank and Sam are next up to be paired with one another, and we do hear from back in the challenge house that Frank does feel like he grew since the last time he was on the challenge when he was 23. He was talking about how he wanted to show off, be like an alpha male on the challenge, but there is moments in the first daily challenge where I feel like we're seeing a little bit of old Frank kind of pop up here and there. Ashley K and Dario, the exes, are here paired up together. We hear that they haven't spoken with each other in like 6 or 7 years, and here they are paired up with one another. With one Ashley comes another Ashley, and Ashley M and Aneesa are paired up. There's a lot of question marks on why these two are deemed rivals, but Ashley does not hold back when she says that she does not feel like $1 million when paired up with Aneesa. She also doesn't hold back in the confessionals, calling Aneesa a pick-me girl. Aneesa says that Ashley just sucks. Even with question marks surrounding why they are rivals, I do think that Ashley and Aneesa will not get along with each other at all. Another pair who will not get along is Sylvia and KellyAnne. I wondered, how much do they really not like each other? A lot. Next up, we have Nicole and Melissa, another ex-pair. There are times in the confessional that Nicole talks about Melissa or being in the house with a blonde that it almost feels like foreshadowing of Nicole possibly cheating on her partner back home. I don't know exactly if that's going to be the case, but given her track record, given her history on the show, but also her comments early on in episode 1, I don't know. It's not looking good. Another group that looks strong is Nany and Turbo. At the moment, I feel like Nany and Turbo will be gracing us with so many different moments in confessionals and outside of confessionals, because when we do get to the challenge house, Turbo is sitting on a swing, eating his fruit, eating some blueberries. He hates the inside because it feels like a refrigerator. Outside is so warm, so the difference in temperature really kind of throws him off. And Nany is inside already panicking because when they get to the challenge house, everybody is like looking for beds and running around. And Nany was walking around not knowing what bedrooms were open, where their stuff, and she couldn't find Turbo at one point. And she is yelling, kind of freaking out. And the game has barely even started while Turbo is outside, doesn't even want to talk to Nany. Next up, we have Beth and Jonna paired up with one another, and this is going to be a pair that will not last for long in the game, but will give us some great confessionals, great moments that they just do not like each other whatsoever. Devon and Shane, I think, will be incredible. I'm so glad that both are back on the challenge. Both can give you confessionals. Both are great, bringing entertainment as well as competing at a high level, especially compared to everybody else who is in the group. The next three pairs have a really strong presence, and I feel like they're going to be really strong competitively. You got Amber and Faysal. My goodness, I think the best athletically. Big T and Coriel, a very new pair, a very new rival from season 39. And then you have Devin and Leroy, who stated that their rivalry stemmed back to season 36. Devin looking at Leroy, looking at the rest of the group, knowing that he's a champion, he's thinking that they have an incredible shot to win. Devin is seeing dollar signs, and I also liked the Photoshop magazine that had Devroy on the front and all the different little articles. This is why we like All-Stars. They don't take themselves too seriously. We do finally hear the prize amount for the winning pair, and it is $300,000. That seems very, very cheap, even for All-Star standards, as in All-Stars Season 1, yes, took home $500,000, and then in All-Stars 2 and All-Stars 3, I believe, they got to split $500,000, so each took home $250,000, whereas for this season and this group, they got $150,000 each, unless there is a twist to steal the money and take $300,000 for yourself. Now, I did almost forget to mention that Katie was left standing all alone. Her partner had not made it to Vietnam just yet, her partner being Veronica, and she would show up at the beginning of the daily challenge. But everybody goes to the challenge house, and it's a very modernistic type of house. This is a house that I've never really seen before. The house looks nice. We get to hear a little bit of the murmurings. Adam and Steve trying to have a conversation with each other, but it is pretty awkward. Nany came to Turbo to ask, can we have a talk? You stabbed me in the back. I don't want to talk. And finally, they do have a conversation, and they kind of get on the same page. Beth and Jonna are never going to see eye to eye. They do have a conversation at one point. It feels like it's water under the bridge, but you just know that it's always going to stay in the back of Jonna and Beth's mind. You know, it's never going to fully heal to where they can trust each other. And I don't think they will last long enough to actually lock in that trust. For now, let's jump over to the daily challenge, where Veronica arrives to be Katie's partner. This is an old school rivalry, stemming back all the way to season 7 and season 8, where it erupted. The first daily challenge is called Frenemies, which is a race that has 3 checkpoints. You have to complete all 3 checkpoints and cross the finish line. If you are a top 4 finisher in this daily challenge, you will get a star, and you will need a star to be eligible to run TJ's final. It feels like we're gonna have the star system from All-Stars 4. It may be better because everybody is in pairs instead of having 8 stars out in the open, running around and then maybe giving stars to everybody. We have 2 people sharing 1 star, so each pair will only have 1 star. So maybe 8 people will make it into the final, but how many people will get purged in the final to hand over stars to another pair? So I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I just don't want the same thing that happened in All-Stars 4 happen to All-Stars 5, because we just started the season and my mind wanders when we finally get to hear some of the games and formats. But for now, let's just focus up on this daily challenge called Frenemies, where in lap 1, you have to make it through mud, grab all the mud that you can, and fill up this bucket to a certain level. Once you get through that, then you have to go get special tongs and transfer ice cubes to a tube of water to get to a certain level. And then the third lap, the ball and gurney, where you have to transfer 4 balls and balance them on a gurney as you walk to get 3 sandbags, and then you have to cross the finish line with the balls in their little circles and balancing. And like I said, if you're in the top 4 finishers and cross the finish line, you will get a star to be eligible for TJ's final. I love this daily challenge for the fact that I think this really is a testament of how strong of a pair are you? How are you two able to work together, or maybe not work together? How well is your communication doing smaller tasks, a series of smaller tasks, to complete a bigger task? And some teams rose to the occasion, and some teams really fell. Some of the people that fell off, not to be surprised, but Beth and Jonna did not do so well. They were falling behind early on, and they just never could catch up. Also, Frank and Sam. It seemed like Sam was kind of slowing down. You could tell that he was trying to show patience, but that old Frank was just like shown a little bit, at least in the confessionals. And even at one point, Frank made me laugh because they were trying to do it, and Frank was like, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. Do I sound mad? And it's like every time his voice went up, you could tell he was like maybe trying to convince himself, like, I'm not mad. We're good. The top 5 finishers for the first lap was Amber and Faysal. They got out to an early lead, but after that early lead, they really did not do well on the second lap, and they really fell behind to where they didn't even finish in the top 4. Devin and Leroy and Adam and Steve were second and third heading into the second lap. These two pairs are a very strong team, and it feels like by the end of this challenge that Devin is going to be looking out to want to maybe conspire against Adam and Steve and maybe target them to send them in early to an elimination, but not this elimination or an elimination that's anytime soon, because Devin and Leroy and Adam and Steve are able to get a star here in this daily challenge. Big T and Coriel are able to finish the first checkpoint in 4th, and then 5th was Devon and Shane. Checkpoint 2 is really tough. They had a montage of people just failing really close to the tube. I think that I would like rip my hair out if I was able to transfer this cube with these tongs and get so close to the water tube to where it just fell off like mere inches of putting it in the tube. There is a point where I feel like Adam and or Steve's hand is like bracing the ice cube to not slip down the tongs at one point. I don't know, maybe it's just me kind of like the direction of the camera and kind of not being able to see it from other directions and angles, but get out to a very big advantage going into the second checkpoint, and then they absolutely demolished the third checkpoint to just win this thing, get the first star. Devin and Leroy were able to finish the second checkpoint, finish the third checkpoint, and come in second place. So we do have the two men teams finishing first and second in this daily challenge. We're going to have to keep an eye on if that's going to be the case. Ashley, K, and Dario, a pair that I did not mention, finished in the top 5 of the mud checkpoint, but they came out strong on the second checkpoint, finishing third, and then they were able to finish third, grabbing a star. It feels like they're going to be a duo that is like a sleeper kind of pair. You know, the fourth and final star was where things were getting neck and neck because, again, another pair that I did not talk about up to this point was Turbo and Nany. They came on strong towards the end to where it was either them getting a star or Big T and Coriel. They were so close with each other, but Nany and Turbo were able to get that fourth and final star. Here's what I did not like about this challenge. Once all 4 pairs got their stars, TJ blows the horn and the competition was done. I was kind of perturbed by that in the sense that I wanted to see who got last place. Why couldn't we just have finished out the challenge just to see who was going to get last place? This also proves that the format is not going to be whoever comes in last goes directly into the elimination, which I was hoping would be the case. We don't even know how these eliminations are going to be set up because where this episode ends is a cliffhanger of everybody coming back to the challenge house talking about the twist of if you can steal the money from your partner. Makes me believe that there will be a twist at the end of the game because why bring it up so much? Given that the episode was like an hour long, less than an hour long, and that's with commercials. It was probably 40 to 45 minutes without commercials. It was probably going to be 2 episodes dropped on the same week on Paramount Plus, but now that's on MTV. They held on to the second episode until next week, where we'll get to see the first elimination. Will the 4 players who got stars deliberate on who to send into the elimination, and then whoever is in the elimination now gets to choose anybody that they want to face off against, except for calling out the 4 people that won stars? And then does whoever win the elimination steal a star from the 4 competitors like in All-Stars 4? I feel like that's how it's gonna go. We're just gonna have to wait and see what's gonna happen next week. So far, so good. But now I want to turn it over to you. What did you think about this first episode? Let me know down in the comments section below. Which pair do you feel has what it takes to go deep into the season and deep into this game, judging by how they interact with each other in the daily challenge and just in the house? What do you think about the house? Which pair surprised you and which pair disappointed you? Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. Now, before ending, I do want to mention that there was a What's to Come this season trailer at the end of this episode, and I want to announce that I will be doing a shot-for-shot breakdown of that trailer, and that will be coming out Friday, January 31st to the channel. I'm looking forward to breaking down that trailer in high definition and getting to see who's in where and what challenge, and coming up with some fun thoughts and theories going over those scenes. So, like I mentioned, Friday, January 31st, that trailer breakdown will be out on the Angel Cake Entertainment channel. I now want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to everyone who's watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really soon with more Challenge All-Star Rivals content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.